All right, let's get into the, excuse me, the paper review now and get across some of the news making headlines on the papers today. We have joining us communication and leadership strategist Dr. John, as usual. Dr. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
Nice to see you.
Good morning,
Good to see you.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's begin with the Punch. Secondar's victory. That's no longer news to anybody who's been following events in Nigeria in the last, this weekend. PDP punished Southwest for role in 2015, says APC. And APC must vacate Aso Rock in 2019, according to Secondars there.
That's not true.
Which one is not true?
Exactly.
That the PDP punished Southwest for role in 2015.
Nobody's punishing anybody. Okay. It's just from the beginning, you and I can actually see that PDP, the Southwest was not going into the election to win. Either they like it or not, it was very glaring. A number of people were rooting for, what's the name of this professor? And even in his home state, in Ekiti, he's having problem with his governor. So I doubt whether
Professor Adeniran
was having problem with the governor. So if you are coming from Ekiti and you are having a problem with your governor, who is a PDP governor, I doubt how you want to get the other people to actually support you. And we have many of them, brilliant people, but the strategy was not good enough.
And Eddie Olafeso, the PDP chairman in Southwest, said that the Southwest produced produced too many candidates.
Yes.
And that in itself worked against them.
That was one of the reasons why they actually lost.
All right, Saraki and I won't return to PDP. That's Kwara governor saying there. Well, you'll get that story on page 21.
Yes, of course, you can't leave a platform that is giving you prominence and go to one that is only promising you prominence. So they have everything working for them in PDP. One is a governor, the other is Senate president. So why do they want?
What else do you want?
No, they can actually from within APC work for another party. But leaving APC is something that
they will not openly do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, those are part of the stories because they are saying that we might see or witness mass defection of some of the people from APC to PDP in the coming days and the coming months.
Saying if Atiku could leave the APC, then why should anybody remain
No,
there?
no, that is not true.
Buhari visits farm, hosts northern senators in Daura.
No, I'm happy about this coming 2019 election because you can see that the president is now reaching out to more people and building more bridges. Ordinarily, he would not have done this. He would go there quietly, he would prefer to meet with his old school colleagues and just live there. But now we're having him meet with the senators and all that. And this is going to have effect on the 2018 budget. I'm happy that at least election is forcing us to do some things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move to the Nation newspaper now. 2019, excuse me, Atiku's plan shaky as governors seize PDP. Makarfi, Tambuwal, Kwankwaso, Lamido, Shekarau on shopping list.
Yeah, you remember on Monday when I was talking about the classes of people, we talked about the old school class and the middle class. So now the fight is between the middle class and the old people's class, and the governors, either we like it or not, have succeeded in hijacking the party now. So they have become a force to reckon with. So now either we like it or not, Atiku must begin to replay his card so that he can get the favor of the governors. As it is now, he can still do that because you still have a lot of things to throw around, including promises of positions.
Okay. We have Adekunle Yusuf wins Reporter of the Year or the Wole Soyinka Award for Investigative Reporting. That's really interesting. Then we have Wole Soyinka Award for Investigative Reporting. That's really interesting. Then we have the EFCC freezes 905 million naira slush cash. Now, if you go through the details, it tells of an account of a sole proprietorship business whom the owner of the company, Christian Robinson, is deceased. And so much amount of money has been going into the account in recent months and so on.
How does that even happen?
It's like we said the other time, there are a number of things to actually suspect, but majorly you need to suspect the employees of the bank because that's what they do. An incident was reported to me last week. A pensioner actually, somebody paid 100,000 into his account, and he got there to actually confirm, and they said, you cannot access this account. He had to call me. I told them, why will you say this man should not access this account? He was not the one that sent the money in the first place. It shows that some employees will just look at any dormant account and they hide some of these monies there. So that's why it's compulsory for us to continue to support this issue of BVN. It doesn't matter how it sounds. We must support it so that at least some of these monies can come to public.
Yeah, but the banks themselves are circumventing the whole idea of the BVN. The Daily Sun reports 2019 PDP battle ready secondos. That's what it's saying. Best candidate won, Wike. PDP, APC trade words over convention. Of course, the APC has been taunting the party for, according to them, such a wishy-washy convention.
And the question is, why has APC not heard it? That's the question. You
That's
see, in a country...
Take away the log in your own eyes.
Yeah, in a country where every politician is interested in what comes to him, it is always very difficult to organize a convention. That is why APC will never organize a convention now until the president has been able to unite the party. If you go into a convention with a divided house, you are going to put down your own house. So either
a lot of surprises will come up.
It's an applause on the part of PDP that they were able to organize a convention at this point in time. They knew that all was not well with the party. Everybody can testify to that fact. But for them to have been able to summon the courage, it's like a man who decided to impregnate his landlord's daughter. That's how it looks like. You should either be ready to live under the bridge, or you are ready to actually live in a house free of charge.
Okay.
That's what they did.
Okay, maybe
so you can go either way.
Yeah, up for the other one. All right. Nigerians not happy, Okorocha confesses. It says 87% of Nigerians are not happy. Only 4% are happy.
That is why the ministry...
And 7%, well, come ça.
That's why there's a ministry for that.
7% are actually faking it. But the reality is that Nigerians are not happy, not just because of the fact that things are not working well, but because it has become exceedingly difficult, if not practically impossible, for people to fulfill their purpose within the circle of their place of birth. Everything, because you talk about a plant who is actually growing well in a good soil. Now the soil is not there. The environment matters. So the government needs to do everything. I'm not saying creation of...
So what Okorocha has done is a very good one. Ministry of Happiness, and Purpose Fulfillment. End of story. Kidnapped Damishi Sango. Others regained freedom. Thankfully, that's a former sports minister there. And Igbo agitation not over. IYM. We want to believe that is Igbo youth movement. Terrorist attack, security agencies put at red alert in the FCT. Okay, let's move to this day newspaper now. Excuse me. We see a bold picture of General T.Y. Danjuma there celebrating his 80th birthday. His wife is there. The First Lady is there. We can also see General Yakubu Gowon and other dignitaries over the weekend. APC PDP exchanged babs over convention. Okorocha expresses regret over Atiku's defection. And Jonathan X VP congratulates Secondos, others, and Dr. C makes U-turn. Okay. Now, the one comment some analysts have made recently is if the PDP, no matter what kind of convention PDP decides to organize, what's APC's concern about it? Why must they make any comment about that?
Of course, they will have to make comment about it, because they can't just watch the PDP organize a convention. The fact that a party has been able, either successfully or not, has been able to organize a convention is a plus on the part of the party.
Does APC have reason to be afraid of the PDP?
Of course, they have every reason to be.
Is the PDP looking stronger now after this convention?
It may not be looking stronger to win the seat of the presidency, but it's actually looking stronger to win some seats. We talk about governors here and there, so that's it.
So, they could likely pull up some surprises to, recapture some states. All right, we have Automotive Council to develop electric car policy. This is in preparation. Countries around the world are making arrangements to transit or to ban or phase out fossil fuel cars and electric cars. Now, Nigeria is coming up with a new policy.
It's a good development. I think we can continue to actually think like 21st century people that we are.
But shouldn't we walk or crawl before we walk and then run and then fly?
No, there's nothing wrong about idea. This is just an idea that this is what we want to work towards. And I tell you that if we continue to empower people of young generation, we'll be able to achieve this.
All right. We have Buhari.
I can tell you that some Unilag students are already working on
exactly.
And nobody seems to be looking
initially, when this prepaid issue meter came, I heard there was the special advisor to the former president on electricity or something. I actually had an encounter with him because when they started this prepaid meter, they took everything to China. Yeah. And I was telling him that I know a few guys in Futa who could build some of these prepaid meter. So it's high time we began to recognize some of these.
And there are local manufacturers.
There are so many.
Now there are local manufacturers now.
We have Buhari heads for Paris to participate in One Planet Summit. Well,
of course, they're looking for funding for, you know, climate change.
Climate change and the environment.
It is a reality that Nigeria doesn't seem to be, well, maybe African countries don't seem to be taken very seriously, but we are actually at the receiving end of the impact of climate change.
We are. Then again, I'm not going to be surprised if after the meeting and everything will come back and nothing has been done, because the only thing that attracts our attention as a continent is where we get fund. If you hear any meeting that funding will be available, you will see an African president there. But coming back home to actually execute whatever has been discussed there has always been the problem.
All right, Vanguard reporting still on the PDP chairmanship tussle, which has come and gone. How Southwest lost out. PDP punished Southwest for voting APC. Bolaji Abdullahi. APC jittery over our new exco, says PDP. Jonathan Fanika, the others hail new exco. All right, we'll just leave that one. FG raises the alarm over high population growth.
You know, you were trying to correct me the other time when I told you that we're actually more than 200 million people. We don't have an idea of what the population
is. The NBS latest figures says 193 million people.
That alone is scary. That because our development is not growing, nothing is growing, and our population keeps increasing.
Faster than the economy is growing.
Religious intolerance keep increasing. Our joblessness keeps increasing. These are some of the indications of future doom if we do not address them. But nobody's thinking towards that direction.
Well, okay, let's do Mr. and Mrs. finally, this beautiful Monday morning. Olga is telling Madam, henceforth, do not stop my mother from doing anything she feels like doing in this house. Do I make myself clear? And Madam responds, let me make myself clear first. Mama insisted on cooking your meal. She was about to use engine oil. When I stopped her, then she became angry and said she has been using imported cooking oil before I was born.
Okay. I think she made herself very clear there. So
imagine if she didn't stop Mama, what would have happened? Okay. We'll have to leave it there.
We have to leave it here now, but we'll still keep Dotun for the next discussion we're going into now. Let's go on a break, and when we come back, we'll be discussing some other issues. Stay with us now.
All right, thanks to us for staying with us. Now, the National Convention of the People's Democratic Party has actually come and gone. That held on December 9 on Saturday. But Uche Secondus, former acting chairman of the party, has been elected the new national chairman.
Yeah, Secondus says he will come up with a deliberate policy to return power to the people. In his acceptance speech on Sunday, Secondus declared the era of imposition and impunity are over. The Rivers politician beat 3 other contestants to emerge victorious in the keenly contested election.
Yes, he scored 2,000 of the total 2,296 votes, and that's 87% of the ballot cast.
I dedicate this mandate to the Almighty God, who it has pleased to make this convention successful and grant us this opportunity to serve our great party. We give all glory to God and we commit PDP into his hands. I stand before you this day humbled by the mandate you just given to my colleagues and I to lead this great party at this time in Nigerian political history. We wholeheartedly accept with extreme gratitude. By my understanding, the mandate you have given us today is clear and unambiguous. It is to return our party to power come 2019.
All right, that was the acceptance speech there by Uche Secondus, the new chairman of the People's Democratic Party, at the convention that was held over the weekend. All right, we have Dr. Ojon still with us this morning to talk about this issue and the fallout generally. Now, if you look at the intrigues, let me use the word, in the build-up to the election, one would say it is normal, you know, it's normal, it's the election, so people will, but if you listen to the comments of serious critical players, when they are not dissatisfied, especially from those from the Southwest and others and all of that, do you think the PDP has really learned its lessons from the past?
Yes and no. Okay. If you look at the way the convention was organized, it was a little bit better than what we used to have. At least you could see people file, go there to vote. I am not going to talk about how that happened, but at least to a reasonable degree, you could see that happen. So on that, you want to say they've learned a lot of lessons. Secondly, if you look at the intrigues and the unnecessary politicking that got involved in the process, then you will say, maybe they have not totally learned any lesson from being out of government for a period of time now. Yeah,
well, the politicking, politics goes with politicking.
Yeah.
Not the other way around. That, so now the APC has been saying a leopard cannot change its spots. The APC, from where it was standing, or from where it's standing, observing the goings-on at that convention, feels that the PDP has not done well at all with this convention. And the so many issues over the unity, so-called unity list that was reported to have been there,
circulating
all over the place, only for the winners to emerge, and the exact names on the unity list, you know, are the ones that emerged. What do you have to say about all of that?
Okay, when you talk about unity list, the worst case scenario is that you can classify that under imposition. But APC is a master in the game of imposing people. So when you look at this, then you ask yourself, what is the concern of APC? In reality, because politicians in Nigeria only complain when the force of imposition does not favor them. Once it favors them, oh, glory be to God, everything is okay. And this attitude is within both the APC and the PDP. I am not concerned about the list, the unity list. I'm only concerned about two things. Number one, that the list was brought into the venue of the convention. And number two, I'm concerned about the envelope behind the list. And nobody's talking about it. It's not just about the list, it's about the envelope beneath the list. So how can you say you want to create a change? I'm talking about PDP. Yeah. How can you say you are better if the politics you played yesteryears?
It's still the same way. PDP is not talking about change. PDP says we want to change the change. That's what they're saying.
How can you change the change
they're not promising anybody change.
How can you change the change if you are not changed? So it's still the same political attitude. Yeah. Mind you, there are two political attitudes that are known with PDP. Surprisingly, a number of people hate them because of these two political attitudes. And that is the same political attitude that is making them popular and will continue to make them relevant.
Which is?
In my own language, the number one is what I call motor park political attitude. The second one is a majestic palace attitude. The motor park political attitude drives them to the street. Once they have something to fight about, they fight dirty. They don't care about what's going to happen. And before you know it, the majestic palace attitude, they gather themselves into the house again and settle it before the majestic palace attitude, they gather themselves into the house again and settle it before you know it. So that has always been,
they say it's a family affair.
Yeah, that has always been their attitude. And that's exactly what's going to play out now. Everybody is saying, oh, we do not agree with the result, but you can see the U-turn that is gradually coming from the chairman of that communication. Dr. Sachalis has congratulated.
Yeah, exactly.
You understand? Exactly. That is against his earlier position. It shows that there may be fallouts here and there, but again, the palace attitude is going to come to play, where they will sit down again.
Do you envisage people like Bode George actually leaving the party with the
Yes, when you talk about people, stakeholders, like Bode George, then you talk about political relevance. For me, he's losing his relevance. So people like Ayodele Fayose will go to church to do Thanksgiving. If a Bode George says today that he's leaving the party, because that shows that the agenda has actually been achieved. What they want to do, the people in the middle class, the governors, the deputy senate president, and people in their life, is to ensure that they have the correct control of the party. And that's exactly what they are achieving as we speak now.
Okay, now, if you listen to the statement of the new chairman, he made it clear that they have been given one mandate, and the mandate is to return power to the people. So that means that it goes a long way to tell that the only reason why we're here is to take power.
Yeah.
It is not necessarily about what we can change and all of that. Now, what message do you get there when the issues of the dissatisfaction, the economy, and all of that are not talked about, but except just getting the power?
Yes, their own idea of returning power to the people is actually the people's welfare. You have to first make that clear. When they say, yeah, you just want to return the power to the people, they're actually trying to put people in the center of their policy, which is a political sentiment that a number of people will actually buy into. But again, with the kind of composition we have within the PDP now, I am not expecting anything fantastic from them, even if today they come back to power, except if they have support from within APC. I mean, if people decide to say, oh, we want to actually wreck the ship of APC.
In Nicodemus kind of...
You understand, except if they have that kind of support. With the kind of composition we have in PDP, I am not expecting anything fantastic, especially when it comes to building the economy, when it comes to fighting terrorism, when it comes to really returning the power to the people in the real sense of it, making the life of an average Nigerian count. I am not expecting anything fantastic.
All right, Dr. John, just hold on for us. Let's bring in our senior correspondent, Somna Sambo, who monitored the PDP convention. He's joining us now from Abuja. Good morning. Good to see you, Somna. So tell us, what exactly stood out, apart from Secondus emerging the chairman of the party? Many Nigerians are even asking, what exactly is Secondus going to bring to the table?
Secondus is an experienced party man. He has been there. He started his politics almost 39 years ago, and he is someone who is vast when it comes to, playing the politics of PDP. And with his emergence, the ability to be able to reconcile many of the party leaders is one skill that he also has. And don't forget that Governor Seraki Dixon heads the Reconciliation Committee. That is also someone who has the listening ears of so many party leaders. And with, PDP's ability to settle some of its problems based on the concept of family affair, they may be able to resolve some of the challenges that cropped out of the convention. So Secondus is an experienced party man. Don't forget he was the deputy national chairman before he became the acting national chairman. After the exit of the former chairman, Muazu. And so with this, he's coming on board with lots of experience. And one of the reasons why some of these governors actually centered on him is because they feel that they do not need someone who is going to be learning on the ropes at this moment. We have about 14 months before the next general election. And so they feel that someone who is very experienced, someone who has wide contacts, and someone who has a PDP governor to back him up financially in some of the activities that he will be embarking on is the person that is necessary. So you look at someone like Adeniran, for example, though he has a PDP governor in the person of Governor Ayo Fayose, but Ayo Fayose did not back him up. And as a result of that, the party is also going for elections next year. There's a likelihood that they will have some challenges here or there. So as a result of that, they are preparing for someone that they feel that they are very confident about, that he'll be able to reorganize the party. And that person who they centered on is Uche Secondus.
All right. Talk to us about some of the delegates that came from different parts of the country. How satisfied were they with the outcome of the election?
Well, most of the delegates were asked to vote for specific persons based on the unity list that emerged. And if you read the statement of the APC yesterday, that you'll find out that the spokesman of the APC said what happened is what he termed systematic rigging, in the sense that the list, which is called unity list, had already been out before the completion of voting. And from what we heard, most of the candidates on that list were anointed candidates. That means the slots had already been given to governors, to top party leaders, and so on. So those governors and top party leaders who had gotten these slots worked on delegates alongside other party leaders who were given some of these slots to ensure that, you know, everybody on that list emerged. And if you look at it, like a few hours before the voting commenced, we mentioned some of those persons on the list, and eventually the list turned out to be real. That means that you know, there was a consensus arrangement. PDP has always worked with the idea of consensus, and that consensus is one whereby if you give me the party chairman, I will give you the deputy national chairman, then someone else will take the slot of national secretary and all of that. So at the end of the day, delegates will be asked to vote based on that line of thinking. And so that consensus building, while it is not wrong according to analysts in itself, the other thing that they feel is bad about it is that it, you know, displaces those who went around the country canvassing for votes, who bought forms and all of that, because what it does is that it kind of like shuts them out. So most of these aspirants who did not have the opportunity of being on the you know, unity list kept shouting, saying that the process was unfair against them. But also, for example, I asked one of them, if you were on the unity list, would you have been complaining? And he kept saying that, yes, he would have been complaining and so on. Well, another person said, no, he wouldn't have complained because it would have been a consensus. So you see, there's a divided opinion on whether that unity list was illegal or not, just like Adeniran said.
All right.
So most of the delegates actually worked with this consensus building agreement, and that was what happened.
All right, Sumner, thank you very much for giving us insight into how it all went on. We know we'll still get more as we get along. Now, we still have Dotun here now. Yeah. Now, talking about the issue of zoning, the Southwest, I know you mentioned earlier on that they didn't go in there to win, but we expect that for people who are very experienced, like Bode George and others who, they are all experienced party men who, going into this convention, they knew the implication of 3, 4, 5 persons going from the same zone.
7 of them.
Exactly, and so on. So why didn't they see that all the while? Because at the point of their withdrawing from the race, apart from Bode George, the others are saying, okay, we want to project a formidable front so that we don't divide the votes.
You see, I'm a little disappointed in all of them, in all honesty, because you work in this organization, you know how your organization runs. I'm not going to come to tell you that this is how your organization operates. So they've been in this party. They know that the force of opposition will always, at every point in time, come to play within PDP. So they still decided what was their hope. They're only holding on to one hope, that the force of opposition will favor them. So there's no noise that you will shout in public place now that you will get my sympathy, because all along you knew that this is how he operates. But I'm going to ask you a very simple question, because I've listened to a number of people. In strategy, do you let go of the post of a vice president because you want to get the post of a chairman of a party? It's as simple as that. That has been the analysis that I've listened to all over the place. But again, now, as we speak now, the body language of the president, his meetings and utterances have shown that, come on, this man is interested in 2019. Either anybody has come out to say it or not. Yeah. And there's a possibility that if a Buhari comes out, it's not going to change his running mate, because the guy has been doing fantastically well. Now, if the Southwest is hoping to have a vice presidential candidate in APC, what is going to be the logic of PDP to give them the party chairman? When you want to fight, you don't. When you want to build a house, you don't destroy the foundation. The foundation of PDP, as we speak now, is in the South-South. So you need to continue to solidify that foundation, and you will know that once you have your chairman from the South-South, then you have two battlegrounds. You have the Southwest, who will likely have the APC vice presidential candidate. If you give them the vice presidential candidate, then it's going to be a battleground. Then
right, let's even move away from, you know, this sectional politics and all of that.
Do you want to, we can't move away from it because that's what's going to determine 2019.
That's what determines the vote.
So,
well, it's all right.
How long are we going to play that kind of politics against politics of let the best man win? Wherever he comes from is just as well, so long as he can perform.
Yeah. Now,
isn't this kind of politics drawing us back as a nation?
Yes, the politics we are playing now is the politics I call politics of EE. You know, ethnicity and one other E I will remember as we go on. And experience. Ethnicity and experience. Oh, have you done it before? Have you been local government chairman before? Fantastic. Oh yeah, come back and do it. That's the politics we are playing now. And that is why, to a certain extent, people like us, we just smile at the corners of our room when we hear that people like Bode George are no more relevant. Because their relevance means that the politics of EE will continue in Nigeria. So what is the politics we are supposed to play in the 21st century? We are supposed to play the politics of IC, competence and innovation. And this practically rests with young people. But the way the system is built now, young people cannot have a say in the political system. So how long are we going to continue? We are going to continue as we continue to have these experienced people move from one office to the other. As we continue to have governors leave their office and become senator. As we continue to have senators leave their office and become governor. It's going to continue as long as that. And perhaps when Nigerians really wake up to the reality of the fact that 80-year-olds will continue to govern in a country where 20-year-olds is interested in how premiership is played than how they are governed.
Didn't a 29-year-old or 30-year-old just emerge in Austria?
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, France.
And even in France, we're still talking about that.
In their 30s and all of that. Nigeria really needs to begin to think along those lines. Money for votes is another issue that was raised in this convention.
Money for vote. You know, I put it as an envelope behind the list. Money for vote. It was very, very prominent. And it's just a pointer to what may likely happen in 2019. That is where my fear is. Like, if we are doing a party convention and prominently we are giving money a place, it shows that by 2019, the wish of the people will be washed away by money. Either we like it or not. So that my fear now is not just whether money actually exchange hands. It is an attitude that we have started now that's going to follow us to 2019.
Okay.
And we may not be able to get the right candidates.
All right, Dr. John, communication strategist, thank you for coming on the program this morning.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much.